Hey there, welcome back to Nutter's Life. I wanted to start this video off with a little bit of an apology. It's been a minute since I uploaded a video, and wasn't what I meant to do, but I ended up getting really sick. I caught a nasty flu bug, and on top of that, because I had the flu, somehow I managed to get a gnarly sinus infection. I was on my couch and bed for almost a week. It took a few days after I started feeling better. It took even more time to get back up to kind of rocking full strength. Being down for a week, I also fell a little behind on some stuff I had to do around the house, at work, miscellaneous little stuff. So I've just been really busy. Um, but yeah, we're back to filming. Should have I got the video coming out right now that you're obviously, watching. Um, and I have a couple of more small ones that are hopefully coming out soon. I got to get back to filming. I got a dozen little projects kind of lined up. Um, anyway, let's get back into it. If you like my content, please subscribe, hit the little notification bell, like the video, leave a comment. Anything helps, really, honestly. Anything. All right, so let's get back into it. Now for the drawer slides, whatever you want to call them, they are a little tight. So what I'm doing is I rolled up some sandpaper and I'm just working back and forth until get back in there. And just opening up that clearance a little bit. I still want these to be snug. I just don't want them to be like, you shouldn't have to force the drawer closed. So then you just keep doing that. Try it. When it slides nicely, just a little resistance, it's perfect. This is just about right. So I have one on here, and it's, when you keep it at 90, it stays almost perfect, glides in nicely. And then this is one of the ones that I just pulled out of the container. And you really gotta force it back and forth. So yeah, all 7 drawers, 6 for the dresser, 1 for the nightstand. They all need these trimmed out. All right, so what we got is the drawer glides. They are just a small L shape with a little nail on the bottom. And what these do is actually give you the ability for the drawer to slide without eating away at this wood right here. So it has a plastic slide that rides on this T-rail, which I already showed you. I have the new ones. I need to scuff just a little out of the teeth so that they ride nicely on here. These, however, I couldn't reuse the ones that came with it. They were a little bit worn out, brittle, not very good. They weren't going to last much longer anyway. So I ordered these new ones. They're a little different. So these ones I just need to space in because, sorry about that. The original ones had, so they have this guide on them, and these are the new ones. So I need to make up that space. So what I did was I grabbed my spacer blocks, which I just got and didn't realize how useful they would be, but they really are. I found one that does about the same distance, minus a little bit, because I have to accommodate for the thickness of this plastic. And I'm just gonna put that on there, which lets me know I'm spaced in far enough. And then I'm going to pull you in a little closer. Get in here, hang out with me. There we go. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm just going to set it on the inside rail. I need to make sure they're far enough back because these drawers have a small inlay right here that needs to fall into that cavity. So I'm going to set it on here, space it out, hold the pin, and flip it up. That way they all end up at the same dimension. And I'll start it. So now I have a mark that tells me where this needs to go. I can set it in that mark, remove my spacer block. And what I'm doing, I don't want to wreck anything and I don't want to run the risk of hitting anything with a hammer.
So I'm just going to use a little clamp right here and force these down. There we go. There. So that gives me my drawer glide for everything to sit on. It does the same thing as this being in there. It's just new, the plastic's softer, the drawer slides really nicely on it. And I did leave these out just a little bit. I didn't want them to like pinch the drawer. I'm also worried about, in the future, if this ends up in a damper location or not, as well cared for as I'd like. If the drawer swells or anything happens, I don't want anything to squeeze too hard and then the drawers become useless. Also, it allows the drawers to slide really nicely. It gives them a little bit of wiggle room so they're not always wearing down the exact same spot when they run. Yeah, so now I just have to do 11 more.
I spent today doing a little bit of cleaning because wow, did it need it. All the flat surfaces in the shop were pretty much full. There was a lot of just junk kicking around that I just needed to clean up. So I spent a few hours doing that, and now I am going to get started on the headboard footboard. I took a good look at these before I started shooting, and I did notice the headboard is actually in great shape. It's not going to need much, just a good sand before we get to the paint. The footboard, however, has this dent right here on the top. It's not too bad or anything, but it looks like something got dropped on it. Maybe while it was in storage, maybe while it was in its previous home. So I am going to have to do a little extra sanding around that area, maybe do a little bit of wood fill, or I'm not 100% sure. I'll see how bad it is once I get everything sanded around it. See how deep of a dent it is. I don't know. It'll probably just be a little bit of wood fill, clean it up. Um, I am using the new microphone. I just sent out a little video about that recently. Uh, Still feels a little weird having it on the side of my head. The clip doesn't work the greatest for the shirt. I need to see if I can maybe order a different clip, or maybe these aren't the right microphones. Actually, I guess if I wear a shirt with a pocket, I could probably put it on the edge of the pocket and it wouldn't be as irritating. Uh, but anyway, let's get to work. I'm going to grab the sander, get some paper going, and I'll do a pot time lapse and sand all this stuff down. Maybe we'll get the primer on today. Here's hoping. It would be nice to get the primer on today. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, I could get first coat of paint on. Alrighty. Let the time lapse commence. Okay. So after doing all the sanding, I noticed these edges are kind of sharp, and I don't know how bad it's going to be. I don't know who's going to get it, and I'm thinking if a little kid bumps into those, I mean they're pretty sharp. With the paint, it will soften it a little bit, but I think for the uprights, the top is pretty soft. These are not too bad. I may round them over as well, but I'm just going to put a small chamfer on the leg uprights on all the sides. The back is going to be a little more complicated because it is a little closer to these boards than the front. But yeah, I'm going to fire up the router and knock the edges off just a little bit. I am using just a chamfer bit, but I'm only setting it like, wow, that's way too tall. There we go. I'm only setting it like just poking through, so it should just be a small chamfer. And I am going to grab a little test piece of something to hit it first so I don't, screw up the actual piece I'm working with. That is the headboard sanded down. And now I need to take just a short break, which you won't know, but I know, but now we both know, and now everyone will know. I got to take a short break and go pick up my kid from school. Hopefully, I can come back out once I get him home and I can get the footboard up here. And the footboard's going to take probably a little less work, smaller, less details. Get them all sanded and hopefully get some primer on tonight. Have fun. Be back in a minute. And we're back. I went and got my son. He's in the house. Let's get started on the footboard. As previously mentioned, there is a little dent, ding, whatever you want to call it, right there. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe it's this giant thing right by my finger, which I didn't notice when I got the thing. But let's sand it down, see what I can do.
What are you doing looking that way? I'm over there now. All right, so I went and grabbed a roller, I grabbed a brush, and I poured some paint. Just gonna get this is gonna be an absolute nightmare to. How do you paint all the sides? I also forgot to sand a little spot here. Like this whole, like, just, you know, a small spot. Nothing crazy. Now, normally I would be much more worried about dust, dirt, debris. The prime coat, I don't worry too much. I am gonna just quickly blow these off with the airline, but I don't worry that much about it. It's the paint coats that I care a lot more. The primer coat gets scuffed down anyway, so if there's a bit of dust in the primer, it doesn't really hurt anything. Speaking of which,
Okay, paint's had some time to dry. I went and had lunch, and apparently can't hit my mouth. Uh, it's just water though, so it'll dry. The life. All right. So now that we have all of the color on and everything has dried up, time to put a little clear. I'm going to be using the same polyurethane I used for the other, the dresser and nightstand. I'm going to mix that first. All right. So now that everything is clear coated, everything feels and looks good. It's all the right color. It's got good armor on it. Let's unscrew these. We'll get the feet on. I'll get everything inside, and we can do the final shots. Show you guys what a whole bunch of really crappy work can look like. Drill, drill. Okay. Oh. Okay. Alrighty. And I don't want to scratch these, so I think I'm gonna sacrifice getting my sweater dirty. Ugh. Okay. Doesn't really matter. Um, Forgot to get the ruler and pencil. All right, so what we're gonna do for these is on the bottom of the feet, we're gonna find center, which is just literally go corner to corner both ways. There. Do the same on this one. There. And just like the dresser and the nightstand that goes with them, we're going to give it feet. Again, this step probably isn't that important, but if it ends up on like a hardwood floor or even laminate vinyl, whatever, if it's not on carpet, it'll make noise, it'll move around, it'll slide. This won't stop it from sliding, but it will stop scratching the floor. It'll stop a little bit of the noise. It will isolate a little bit, hopefully. Give it a little protection. You're going to need the hammer for the second one. Don't put that down. There we go. Throw some rags over here. Normally I would just set it down, but I don't really want to get the shop's not exactly a clean space. I don't want to get any junk on the felt pads. So I'll grab a couple of rags. How did a brand new rag get junk on it? Seems right. Okay. We'll set this one up here and get the footboard. Just like before. Mark corner to corner. Corner to corner. There we go, and that gives you your center mark. Two more fuzzy feet. There. There we go. All right, just like that, the dirty stuff's done. Let me, you guys want to just go in the house and I'll show you how it all finished. I'll see you in the basement. I'm gonna have to take you there. You can't walk. What am I thinking? See you in a second. What are you doing, puppers? Yep. Okay. Ooh. So I got everything inside. Sophie, this is not a time where a dog helps. Go. Go lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Good girl. You ever notice when you have a dog, dogs always want to help when there's no need for a dog for help? Okay, so I had these taped up so that they wouldn't get scratched. I don't need your help. Oh. So we got to tape off. And I just did this so that if they needed to get moved around while I was in the house, they wouldn't get scratched or dinged or anything. There you go. Tape everywhere. Yeah, man. Still not needing your help, puppy. Okay, there's those. Get rid of that in a minute. So I picked up, these actually slide in and they have a flat plate that sits up against the wood. So I picked up some little foam strips or whatever they are, felt strips. And get out of here. Go lay down. Go lay down. And the idea is that this flat plate rests up against the headboard footboard, and I just want to keep them safe. So throw a little bit of this on it. Let's see what we can do here. And here's hoping I got the right size, because I didn't think to check that before now. You know, preparation. I has none. Okay. And these are freshly painted, so I'm not too worried about. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. Okay. I wasn't even in the shop. No. Oh well, it's fine. I'm gonna lower you down so I can work on the floor. Sophie, get. Sophie, stop. Go. Go lay down. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. What in the... Are they child-proof? There we go. Okay, so all I'm doing is adding these to the flat plate so that when I go to selfie, get, go. Selfie, get. Every time, man. Now, what I didn't think about till just now is I hope these aren't too thick. And wait, stop. Leave the camera alone. I hope these aren't too thick and they stop the bed from sliding together. If they do, I guess they'll have to come off. I'll have to find a different product, maybe something a little skinnier. These are, I don't know, an eighth. But I don't think that should be too bad. There. Come with me. Let's go to the other end. Yeah, there we go. All right. Ow. Yeah. They're childproof, I swear. There. Leave it. There. And like I said, these are freshly painted steel, so I'm not really worried about the sticky, not stickying. Sticky, not stickying. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. All I'm thinking is if I put these on, it should prevent the headboard footboard from getting too scratched up when you slide them in and out. When I took them apart and started cleaning everything, the headboard footboard were pretty scratched up from right where these rails go. So I'm hoping this little fix should correct that. There. That's all 4, that's all 8. Okay. Look out. Move you back. Oh, of course I put these in the right way. That's awesome. Okay. Oh, good. They still lock on. Sweet. There we go. Look out, puppers. There's a bed. All right. I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup. We'll do some beauty shots. And then I can complete this video. Hells yeah. All right, so that's the end of this one. Sophie, look. Look at the people. Look at the people. That's it for me. It's another one in the books. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Other side.